Welcome to Astoria Film Festival Presents, our weekly half-hour program featuring our films, filmmakers, events, and the local community. Today we're speaking with Anna Russell and Bella Saban, filmmakers from our 2020 festival. Anna Russell won Best Actress in Festival 2020 for her role in the film she also wrote and produced, The Amiss Advice of Anna Lou. Bella Saban's film, Baka, was a documentary short finalist.
My first question for you is, can you tell us how you came up with like the idea to create this work and like what was the inspiration behind it?
Yeah, so I had this similar relationship with my grandmother, obviously not as extreme, but she was a huge influence for the film, and I just kind of wanted to make something in her honor for her. She influenced me greatly, so that's where it came from.
Cool. So how have your like life experiences affected your creative journey in this exactly, if that makes sense?
Oh yeah, totally. No, I think it's one of those things where if you didn't get a swift kick in the butt, you don't really like go for it. So I think my upbringing was a huge motivator for me to make art and create art. I mean, not only because of my life experience, but just because my family, everybody's artistic and in some way. So it was like a huge influence on me.
Right. No, yeah, I actually had just finished watching it last night because I wanted to be fresh in my mind before we spoke.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a cute, like little 4-minute thing. And I like, it's so little, but it packs such a big punch.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
And
Thanks.
like really took away like such a strong message from that where like, maybe like sometimes your elders aren't like the best example for you, but for some reason they still impact you in a way.
Yep.
And it kind of
Absolutely.
like, I can understand where you're coming from. I absolutely adore it. So what was it like to open up and kind of be vulnerable? Because I know that can be hard sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty scary because your family is going to watch it and see sort of how you feel like your mind wrapped around the whole situation in some sort of twisted way. But yeah, I mean, I think it's worthwhile in the end.
Yeah. No, what was I going to say? So what was like when you finished the film and you saw it for the first time after the director finished cutting it, because I know you didn't direct it.
I did not.
Yes. What was it like handing off, like, did you wrote it correctly, right?
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So as the writer, like, was it hard to like let go of this like very personal script and like give a good portion of the creative control to someone else? What was that?
Absolutely. I mean, when you write something, you always have it in your mind of how you want it to be, and you know, some big budget stuff that you want to happen that you obviously can't unless you have a big budget, which I've never had. So yeah, it's hard to give up that creative control in that way. But I also really love my director, Deirdre Hurley. She and I worked together previously, and she and I are just kind of on the same page, but also she has a unique eye to see things that I necessarily wouldn't have been able to see. And if I can't let myself let those things go, then I might be missing out on some amazing, creative, juicy thing that I would have never seen. So I think it's to my benefit to let go, and I try as much as possible to let go. When I'm on set, it's sort of like, okay, this is it, here it is, let's see what happens. But if there is something that I'm really like stuck on, that I'm like, no, I had this shot in my mind, like very specifically, then I am not afraid to sort of chat with her about that and be like, I really see it like this. Can we try it like that? And she's willing to work with me as well.
Right.
We're dream team.
Yes. Dream. Oh my God, what's that saying?
The teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes. So now the opening scene of the film is young Anna Lou, and she's pitching to this very misogynistic boy. So what does that represent for you, and why did you choose to open the film with that scene?
Well, this is funny. This is actually one of the creative differences I had with Deirdre. But in terms of like edit, because she edited this, and the way I wrote it was not that scene is the open. I had the first two scenes switched, so it, you know, opens with the baseball scene and then it goes to I wasn't always this elegant, but I had started it the other way around. But just based on edit, you know, she was like, I think this is stronger, it says something a little bit better, and perhaps we could talk to her about that. But I agreed with her. Once I saw it, it made more sense. But the whole reason why I wanted to kind of focus on the young girl first is because she was such a strong, passionate, like, tomboy, you know, but then this woman who wasn't exactly nice or a good influence, as you said earlier, still made this huge impression on her. And I wanted you to see just how strong of a woman she was, and yet how moldable she was at the same time.
Well, it definitely comes across that way. It's a very powerful film. My final question for you is, what do you wish your audience would take away from this after they finish watching it?
I think that I would want them to take away just how words and behaviors have huge impacts on people. Even though you think this tiny little thing that you're doing or saying is menial, these things stay with you. And I think that's really what I wanted to show, was that we're very impressionable at all times, in good or bad ways.
Yeah.
Tell us about yourself, your background, and what led you to make your film.
Okay. My name is Bella. I'm 17 years old, and my background, I don't know. I'm from Queens. And
You're currently a film student at
film student at Frank Sinatra School of the Arts. I have been doing film since I was in 6th grade, so like about 11. And then transferred from middle school to high school, and then started the film program at Frank Sinatra. I mainly am mostly interested in portrait documentary making. I've made a couple portrait documentaries, one being Vaca, about my grandmother. I had the idea mainly because I was like extremely busy at the time, and I really wanted to make a documentary because I've like, up until that point, I've only made a couple, but I've never actually made a portrait documentary. And I was like really fascinated by like kids in my class or like other film students that I knew making portrait documentaries, and I really liked how they captured so much over one person, but also like how they told a separate story about themselves by capturing another person in a film. And I wanted the opportunity to do that. So because I was so busy, what kind of like just happened was I was able to spend time with my grandmother on the weekends. So that's kind of how it happened. And it was, not only did I get to make a film about my grandmother, but it was also just a good opportunity to like hang out with her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, I think it's going to be invaluable to you in the coming years. Like, you know, I've lost most of my family, not to be morbid, and I wish to God I'd done that with each and every one of them. You know what I mean? Like, that's just a beautiful thing to have. So I think you will cherish that for years to come. I really do.
Yeah. And like, I already thought we were close, like me and my grandmother, like going into it, but like after that, now we're like even closer. And I didn't realize how much closer we could get just from me like hanging out with her on the weekends for a couple weeks and like filming her. Yeah.
And also being interested in her past, you know, I mean, so many older people want to talk about themselves and most younger people don't want to listen. So to have someone who not only wants to listen, but wants to record it and share it with the world, that's, you know, that's something. That means a lot.
Exactly. I just feel like I also wanted to like, I guess show other people, but also show myself, because a lot of times like I feel like I learn about myself by physically making things like this, or like showing, like visually showing myself. I wanted to just like make something that like kind of symbolizes our relationship, because how I usually like think of our relationship is all these stories that she would tell that I mean, most old people are like this. They tell all these stories that you can just repeat them back to them at one point. But like she seems so like utterly interested in like her own past, but like and it's just like fascinating to me like how fascinated she is in herself. And I was like, I just think this is so entertaining, but also like heartwarming to watch, like an old person tell these stories like it's a movie that they watched. And that's another thing, like it's also like the stories that they're telling in like that point in time reflect so much of like what's going on in their life now. Like there would be like a couple years where my grandmother would tell these very specific stories, and now she doesn't tell them anymore, but she tells this whole new set of stories. And it's just like it reflects like what's going on in her mind, even though they're not recent stories. Like it just it very much like is parallel to like her life now. How much things have changed, just our even like our ability to like retain information is so different. It's like even if it's like this little film, it's just like it even just captures just like this one generation of like how they can retell their stories. Like I don't even want to know how I'm going to be retelling my stories when I'm older.
So what are you up to these days?
I've been mostly watching movies. I don't know. I've been trying to like get a new idea because I wanted to make a new film, but I don't know. I've been trying to like I've been writing a lot, just like writing things that I find funny, because it's usually how like I get my ideas. Because I originally just think my grandmother's a very funny person, so that's originally why I made it.
And she is, by the way, just for
yeah. And that's also like why I made my documentary about my brother, because he just does things that I think are funny. So I've been trying to write down things that I think are funny. I wanted to make a self-portrait documentary just because I like see all my portrait documentaries as like self-portraits of myself, even though they're about other people. I feel like they, at least in the way I edit them, like reflect even just a small part of like how I think.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to do that, and I started like researching like self-portraits, not just with film, but also with other mediums like art, like fine art and like paintings, to see like how that would reflect in a film. But that's all I've been up to lately.
Oh, that's all.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty impressive.
Thank you.
And also school and life, and your posse, your film posse is back together.
My film posse is back together. Yeah. I mean, they've just started shooting again, getting back into it. Yeah.
What are they working on?
I know
tell us
that,
about your film posse and what they're working on.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Okay, so my film posse, our very small production company. Sorry if it's loud. There's like a lawnmower outside.
I don't hear it. Honestly, there's always lawnmowers in back of me, so.
Yeah. So my film posse, which is my small production company, Night of Oni Productions, which is with my 3 friends, Hudson, Alex, and Ixchel. And before quarantine, before the pandemic really like shut things down, Hudson was working on his production for Friday, which he was like halfway through production. So over the past 2 weeks, he's been getting back into reshooting scenes, editing around it. That's really all we've been up to. Not slowly getting back into it.
And so tell us a little about what type of films did you make when you were 11? Like
When I was 11? Okay, so my first film was a silent film. It was called, I don't even know what it was called. I think it had like 3 title changes maybe. It started off as a film about kids skipping school, I think. And then it ended up being a film about bullying.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, they could have been skipping school because they felt threatened by bullies.
Yeah, I think originally it was that they just didn't want to see their teachers, but then the footage kind of like told a different story. So it ended up being that they felt threatened by bullies, and yeah.
That's great though. Like it's actually a full narrative for
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
At 11.
At 11, yes. I made a documentary when I was 11 too. It was about the custodial staff at my middle school. It was
Oh,
called
that's so cute.
Keeping Up with the Custodians. Yeah.
Brilliant. Where can people find you? Instagram handle, website, stuff like that?
At Bella Saban. Yeah, I think that's at all my handles. It's just at Bella Saban. Saban, Saban.
You're pitching? I hope you throw as hard as I get when I leave your grandma.
I wasn't always this elegant. My grandmother made sure that I knew it.
Take some adventures with books, darling, or else you won't get anywhere in this life. Your looks certainly won't do it. Jesus Christ, you need to learn how to make a cocktail. No. More than that. More than that, darling. All right. Good. When you're too sober, you get to see people the way they really are. That's just so goddamn boring. You know what I mean? You need to learn how to dress. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere in this life. Look at your mother. Go.
I don't know why I wanted to be like you. I hope you can see me from where you are.
I'm gonna come over next week.
I'm gonna be on the television?
Yeah, you're gonna be on the television.
Oh, wow. I have to put myself nice.
And I'm gonna come over next week and I'm gonna film you.
You're going to come next week and I'm going to be movie star. I'm going to make Nona so happy.
I'm saying she's trying to get you when you're not talking. You just do your, I don't know.
What she's going to do?
She's going to film you and then I'm going to pick up a little while. Have fun with Isabella.
I never have fun with Isabella.
Yeah, you know you want.
Right, Isabella?
We have fun. Yeah.
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 Next time you have to pay me for that. He said, I'm going to marry you. You know what I said?
What did you say?
I'm fool. You know what happened?
What?
I was fool. I married him.
Yes,
Just talk about her.
I can't talk about her.
Why not?
Because there are problems that I don't want to disclose.
Okay, why did you marry her?
Because that's an interesting question. I didn't see certain things, neither did she.
Okay. Talk about Polachinka then.
Oh yeah, good reason to marry her. Polachinka. My steak gets burned every time we throw money away. She puts the steak in the oven and then she answers the phone. No, she called her sister. Forgets all about it. I come home, it's, what's going on here? It's carbon. And it happens all the time. But it wasn't like this before, so. And other than that, everything's fine and dandy.
Oh my God, Tomo. Take picture.
I am.
I think I grew up in Croatia. And there was the happy days when my mother told us, if you're going to clean the kitchen, and you're going to shopping to buy across the street some fruit, I'm going to make palachinka. Here. I think you're doing good. Good one. Yes. Nice. It's too big.
Is that thinner this time?
Huh?
Is that better this time?
A little bit better. That's good. I think how you feel better.
Yeah.
Maybe you come to eat in my house?
Yeah.
Yeah. What you going to eat?
Nothing.
Oh, that's a good one. Let's come to see. Yeah.
Yeah. Very good.
16?
Yeah.
I'll take one.
Okay.
No,
For sure.
take more.
You're
Take
touching me, you're touching me, you're touching me.
You call that touch?
Look what she does. You see?
Lepotije, lepotije, Zagorje zeleno, Zagorje zeleno, Zagorje... Come on, Nelly. Zeleno, lepotije, lepotije, Zagorje zeleno, u njem ide svaki rat, u njem ide svaki rat. Pježijenke, cukri pobegal, pane švide, beli Zagreb grad. Lepotije, lepotije, to znaš. Lepotije, lepotije, Zagorje zeleno, Zagorje zeleno, Zagorje zeleno, lepotije, Zagorje zeleno, u njem ide svaki rat, u njem ide svaki rat.
The Astoria Film Festival is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We produce an annual film festival that highlights short films, feature films, web series, and podcasts from filmmakers around the world, and hold meetups and smaller screenings throughout the year to support local filmmakers. Our founder and executive director, Nina Fiore, grew up in Astoria, New York, and worked in television, digital media production for many years with MTV, PBS, Viacom, Sundance Channel, and many others. She also worked in after-school education. Nina began the festival with the hopes of uniting students interested in careers in film, television, and digital media production with local experts in the field. The majority of proceeds from our festival go into creating education workshops for local schools, after-schools, and community centers. We also run a Film Fellows program where we provide work, internships, mentorships, and training for students ages 15 to 25 with an interest in film, television, and digital media production. Most of our programming is now done virtually via Zoom for ages 8 to 12, 13 to 18, and 15 to 25. If you'd like more information about our organization, please visit AstoriaFilmFestival.org. Thank you.
We expect you to do 10 dozen cookies the first time you come in. The second time you come in, I'm expecting 15 dozen.